I'm going to be recording over this and talk about my drawing that I'm doing and a little bit about myself because I can't use music because copyright. And I was like, oh, I'll just put in like non copyrighted music, but I hate non copyrighted music, so I'm not going to be doing that. I recently just got a haircut and I did it myself because I'm talented like that, I guess. And I have front bangs now, and the last time I had front bangs was when I was a really little kid, and it got me thinking about stuff that's happened in my past, and I was like, okay, well, I might as well just talk about all of that to you while you guys see my little speed paint going on. So, when I was a little kid, I lived in a crazy area. It was a nice new neighborhood, but it was a little bit off, creepy. There was a specific reason for that, which I'll talk about later, maybe. But yeah, when I was a little kid, I lived in a neighborhood that was on an Indian burial ground, and a lot of really weird, crazy stuff happened. And I only lived there for 7 years, which I guess that's a pretty long time, but I lived there for 7 years. And when I was in first grade, from kindergarten to first grade, me and my cousin went to school together, and we did a lot of we got into a lot of mischief as little kids, but specifically we would walk home from school because our elementary school was inside of our neighborhood, and the way to get to our grandma's house, which is where my cousin lived, was like not that far of a walk. It was like 1 block down. So every day after school we would walk together. She was the older cousin by like a few months, which meant that she bossed me around constantly, and she was like, oh, I know better because I'm older, which, I was a stupid kid, so maybe that was for the best. But when we were walking home on this particular day, I remember that we had gotten off of school and we were just talking and walking past this car, and we both like screamed in terror because this car had a picture like printed on the inside of the window of a scary face, and we like thought it was a real face, and we were like, yeah. We were really scared, and then we were like, oh, ha 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 ha, it was just a picture, we're so silly. We laughed it off, we kept walking, but because that happened, we were kind of on edge that day, coming home from school, and so, we laughed it off, but we were both kind of like, that was scary. And then at some point we start getting towards a mailbox, which we pass, and past that mailbox, we see this like big van. I don't think it was like a creepy white van, honestly. I think it was like a mom type van, and it was approaching us, and we were like, that's weird that it's going so slow, but like together in our little kid brains, we're like, maybe it's just stopping to get mail, which is pretty logical. So I'm like not really thinking of it. I'm like, oh, it's stopping to get mail. But my cousin is like, well, let's just walk really slowly past the mailbox and see if it keeps going. And so that's what we do. We're like walking kind of slow. We're like keeping an eye on this weird van. And it starts like going past the mailbox, and we're like, it's not stopping for the mail. And then like my cousin is like, stop walking. So I stopped, and then the van stopped, and we were like, oh my God, they're after us. They're gonna freaking kill us. And I was like, I can't run. My shoe's untied. And my cousin was like, please, just run. And then like the car door opened up, and my cousin claims to have seen like a guy with a knife, which I didn't see that, so I don't know. But to this day, she claims that there was a guy with a knife. And we just booked it to our grandma's house. We freaking sprinted down that like block to get to my grandma's house. She was like the first house on a cul-de-sac. There was this weird like big bush in the front yard, and DJ was like, which is my cousin's name, by the way. She was like, jump behind the bush, and we jumped behind the bush, and we just kind of like hid there and watched the van kind of circle the neighborhood, which was very creepy, very scary. And we we were like, we need to freaking go. We need to go inside. And fun fact about my grandma, she is a little bit crazy, a little bit cautious, so she like guarded the front door with a like chair in front of it so she could hear anyone coming home. So we're like trying to bust the door down to get into the house. We're like, get the chair out of the way, tripping over the chair. And my grandma was petrified that this happened to us, and we were like screaming and yelling, and we were totally like terrified the rest of the day. And one of the funnier things that came out of this is when we were at home telling our grandma about this, my cousin was like, we need to protect ourselves in case they like saw us coming into this house, they try to break in. And I was like, yes, we need to do that. And she was like, I'm getting my baseball bat, because she was in softball. She had like the big metal bat. She comes out with that, and I was like, oh, great, what's my weapon? She handed me a pen, and I was like, this is my weapon. This is what I'm gonna have to defend myself with. And yeah, so that entire day, we kind of guarded the house, like hid in a fort in the house, because we were petrified of that, like these people coming to abduct us, which, you know, thinking back on it, it is really scary that like possibly that could have been what that was. I remember I told my mom all about this my entire life, and she never believed me until one Christmas I asked my cousin if she remembered this happening, and my cousin was like, oh my god, I totally remember that happening, that was so scary. And I was like, yes, finally, like it wasn't just me imagining things, it wasn't a dream, it wasn't me exaggerating, it was that actually happened. And then my mom finally believed me. So yeah, we freaking did it. We escaped getting kidnapped, and we lived to tell the tale, and it was really scary, but we are alive. Anyways, that's the end of that story, but the speed paint is still going on. It's almost done. I think I'm just finishing up a few little touches here and there, but I hope you enjoyed the speed paint, and I hope you enjoyed my crazy little story. And go follow me on Instagram to see more of my digital art. If you liked this video, let me know so I could keep making more. I have a lot of crazy stories from when I was like a little kid. And yeah.